Good luck.
Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün dünyanın en refah ülkelerinden biri olan Danimarka'da Aarhus University ile STEM programlarını Catherine ve Berk Bey'den dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayın. Yes, Catherine, the stage is yours now.
All right. Hello, everyone. Great to see so many of you checking in. It's really nice to be here. And I look forward to sharing a bit about Aarhus University and Denmark. Before we get started, I will let Berk introduce himself. Berk, please feel free to go ahead, and then I'll start the presentation afterwards.
Thank you, Catherine. Herkese merhabalar. Berk benim ismim. IEFT Turkey Yurtdışı Eğitim Danışmanlık firmasını temsilen burada bulunuyorum. Aarhus Üniversitesi'nin Türkiye'deki yegane temsilci acentesiyiz. Buradan başvuru yapmak isteyen tüm öğrencilerin başvuru süreçlerinin yönetilmesi, dikkat etmesi gereken detayların yönetilmesiyle ilgilendiğimiz gibi aynı zamanda konaklama bulmanız, vize başvurunuzu da basit bir şekilde halletmeniz konusunda ücretsiz destek alabiliyorsunuz acentemizden. Bu şekilde bir anlaşmamız söz konusu. Sunum için tekrardan Catherine'e yönlendireceğim. Kendi iletişim bilgilerimi de chat kısmından paylaşacağım. İlerleyen süreçte haberleşebiliriz bu şekilde. Teşekkür ediyorum katılan herkese. Catherine, it's back to you.
Thank you. I hope you said something nice. I heard a bit about Aarhus, and but unfortunately I don't speak Turkish. Maybe I'll learn someday. So let me just share my presentation. So we have tested it, so it should work. So hopefully you can all see the first welcome slide of my presentation. If not, someone yell out. As mentioned, my name is Katrina. I work at the International Center at Aarhus University, and also Berk just introduced himself from ISIS Turkey. I think we have about 45 minutes today. I'll start by introducing you to the university, our degree programs, a bit about the admission process, and then we have time for question and answers. I know Berk will also be responding to your questions in the chat or the Q&A function. So feel free to just, write in your questions. After this presentation, I will send you an email with a link to this presentation. So no need to take too many notes. You can just lean back and enjoy the presentation. Also, in the email that I sent to you, I'll include a link to our newsletter, and I really recommend that you sign up. In the newsletter, we try to keep it short and sweet, as we say. So it's reminders of the application deadline and a few tips on how to submit your application. And obviously, you can always unsubscribe. So some of you might know Denmark quite well. Some of you might have family here, and some of you might have no idea, and you only just heard about Denmark today. So we are located, I guess, a bit more than 3 hours by plane from Turkey, right up here, part of the Nordic countries, so south of Norway, and then just north of Germany. So it's a really good starting point to travel the rest of Europe, obviously, and also to start a career in Europe. Aarhus is located, all of this here is Denmark, and Aarhus is located on the main peninsula, so about 3 hours away from Copenhagen. And I'll tell you a bit more about Aarhus as well. So Denmark, it's a very, very small country. We're only 5.8 million people living here. You might have heard about the capital, Copenhagen, and you might even have been there. It's a beautiful city as well. As you may know, we speak Danish in Denmark. It sounds to a lot of people like German or like Dutch. So if you know German or Dutch, maybe Danish will sound familiar to you. What's really nice for you to know, if you don't speak Danish, which I am assuming you don't, is that pretty much everyone here in Denmark speaks English. And that, of course, applies to our campus and friends that you meet around the university, but also if you go to the supermarket, any kind of person you can ask for where's the milk and they will let you know, or anyone you meet on the bus, you can ask for directions. So it just makes it really easy to get around in Denmark and also really easy to integrate and create your own network of people. What's also nice to know if you're living in Denmark for 2 years, which all of our degree programs are 2 years, that it's a really safe country. It's one of the 5 safe countries in the world. It's also voted one of the happiest countries. I think right now we're number 2 in the world, and some years we're number 1. I think this year, I believe Finland beat us. And then we consistently have the world's lowest level of corruption. So that's also something that we can be fairly proud of. Just quickly about the city. This picture is actually taken from, we have this really beautiful art museum that has a rainbow on top of it. And this is taken from inside the rainbow. So you can see the main cathedral here in the background, and then you can see the harbor and the water here also. So I like to say that Aarhus is an old city with a young population. So Aarhus is one of the oldest cities in Denmark. It was founded by the Vikings. But then measured by age, Aarhus is actually the youngest city in Denmark. We have a lot of students. 52,000 students approximately live in the city. And we're just voted this year Student City of the Year. So that's also really cool. So definitely like a student vibe, lots of opportunities to go out and enjoy the city. Lots of bars, lots of festivals, and lots of events just for international students. We have a very active student house that caters specifically to international students. So they'll organize trips, they'll organize parties, they'll organize language classes and everything, you name it. They also have a lot of volunteers, so it's also a great opportunity to volunteer at the student house. So this might be surprising to some of you, and some of you might already know, but we actually have a fairly large Turkish community in Denmark. Again, relative to the size of the country, about 70,000 people of Turkish descent or Turkish people live in Denmark. And we have also a lot of mosques, including 40 Turkish mosques. So that says a bit about, the size of the community in Denmark. So Aarhus University, this picture is from the University Park, which is one of my favorite places in the world. I used to live just up here in the corner on campus. It's such a beautiful place, and I know that you'll love it if you decide to come here. The university was founded close to 100 years ago, and we are now about 38,000 students, and 12% of these are international, representing, I think, more than 120 different countries. So we receive lots of students from everywhere. Lots of students from Europe, lots of students from Asia, really from all over the world. The US is also one of our, a country that sends a lot of students to Denmark. Rankings can obviously be important to you. We are ranked fairly well in most of the international rankings, and these again are worldwide. So we're also obviously one of the best countries or best universities in the world. So learning at Aarhus University, just briefly, because this might be something that could particularly attract you to Denmark, but it also might be very different from what you're used to. So what we're really proud ourselves of here is that all teaching is done by active researchers. That means that whatever class you go to at the university, your professor will be someone who has a PhD at least, and is doing active research on the side. So that says something about the quality of the degree program that you're studying and the quality of degree that you'll actually receive by the end of the 2 years. We have what we would call the Scandinavian or Nordic teaching style. And what that really means specifically is that it's a very informal learning environment. So for instance, you won't call the professor Mr. Smith or Mrs. Jones, you'll call them John and Kate. So that can take some getting used to. What's really nice about the programs that I represent here today, which is our natural and technical science programs, is that most professors have an open door policy. So if you have a question after class, or you have a question concerning an exam or assignment, you can just go knock on the professor's door and then they will help you. So I think that's something that's really nice and will really help you in your learning process. The format of the learning is probably similar to what you're used to. So it will be a mix of lectures, of seminars, where you have classes in smaller groups. So anything between, I think, 5 students and 25 students. You might do lab work. And then what's really cool at Aarhus University is that we have a lot of focus on study groups. So study groups is, I think it has kind of 2 main purposes. So one purpose is that you have kind of like a little community, like a social group with people that you prepare with for class and that you prepare with for exams as well, but then also that you can do actual projects with, so exam projects or assignments. And that kind of mirrors the reality that you'll enter into afterwards. When you get your first real job, you will be working with groups of people. You won't be working just by yourself. So that's a really good introduction. So career in Denmark. So some of you might be thinking of a career in Denmark. Some of you might be thinking of a career in Europe or just somewhere else in the world, or maybe even in Turkey. But what's nice to know now is that during your studies, you can actually also work on your residence permit. So you're allowed to work for up to 20 hours per week. And during the summer, you can actually work full time. So that's a really nice way to make some money on the side. 20 hours a week is a lot to work. So probably at least the first year, I would not recommend working more than maybe 10 or 12 hours, because courses are full time. You'll be expected to study for at least 40 hours per week. We have a lot of career services at university, a lot of events that are tailored specifically for international students. So that can be workshops on creating a CV, or it can be like a company dating event. So all kinds of events basically every week, if that's something that you're interested in. After graduation, you're actually allowed to stay on your residence permit for up to 6 months to find a job. And what's also at the moment in Denmark, there's very low unemployment, and we've basically done quite well also throughout the whole COVID epidemic. So the unemployment is less than 5% typically. Starting salaries are also quite high. So it would be a typical starting salary would be at least 4,000 euros per month, and probably more within these fields like engineering and STEM in general. Working in Denmark, you also get to enjoy this excellent work-life balance. The work week is 37 hours a week. And what's really nice is that you have 5 weeks of paid vacation. So that is something that you will really appreciate once you graduate and have your first job. I don't know, Beck, if there are any questions, feel free to interrupt me at this point. Otherwise, I will, yeah.
Not yet, actually. We have a question about the scholarship and also the career opportunities working alongside the master's program. But of course, I think there is a part in your presentation that you will talk about this. So I just wait for now, then we can maybe discuss more. And we have had a question about bachelor's degrees. I answered it. There are 2 more questions. One is, Okay, so media and journalism, no, there is no program. We are talking about STEM programs today.
Yeah.
There is a PhD question, which we are not able to help at this point, I guess.
Yeah.
And you mentioned you're 2 years. I'm planning to study second bachelor's degree. Would you count my lessons? Okay. So there's a transfer of credits question, which is also, I think, not very possible. Is it, Catherine?
Transfer of credits will be assessed during the application. So it might be possible. It really depends on the specific courses that you've passed. So that will be up to an individual assessment, which probably won't take place until after you've actually been admitted. And I think to the other remaining questions, just quickly, I'll say, my presentation today is just focused on our STEM programs, but we do have 2 bachelor's degree programs at Aarhus University offered in English. And we also have a lot of other master's degree programs at the university. And if you just go to au.dk, you will easily find the international website, and then you can find bachelor's degree programs and master's degree programs. So feel free to check out our website, and obviously I'll also send you a link to the website after the presentation.
Okay, then thank you. I think we can continue right now.
Sounds good. Okay, so just a few admission facts. I won't go into too much detail about the actual application process. We do have an open day event on the 3rd of November where we do a full hour on just the application process. So if you're interested in applying, definitely make a note of the November 3rd and join us for that event. And obviously, you're always free to email me as well. We have, it's possible to start in either January if you want to study engineering, or in September. And September is open for all programs. So most of you would probably be interested in starting in September 2022 or September 2023 even. So the application will start in the 1st of November, so a few months from now, and then it closes on January 15th. So January 15th is your application deadline. The annual tuition for all non-EU students is 14,500 euros per year. We do have tuition fee waivers available. So that's our scholarship. It's a tuition fee waiver. It's just to be specific about what's included in the scholarship. And this is available for select top students. And what's really nice is that you don't have to apply separately. Once you apply for admission, you automatically apply for a tuition fee waiver. So the way it works is that a professor, for instance, at mechanical engineering will receive, let's say, 50 applications. They will go through all the applications. Then they will decide, okay, these 40 students can be admitted to the program. We'll offer them admission. And then these 5 students are the best students. They have the highest GPA. We will offer them a scholarship, aka tuition fee waiver. And that's how it works. So it's you don't need to do a special application. You don't need to send in your resume or anything. A professor at the department will look at your GPA from your undergraduate. And if you're one of the best students that apply, you will be offered a tuition fee waiver. So that's how that works. And just briefly, we do have an application fee. That's 100 euros. You can apply for up to 3 programs with this application fee. If you are admitted and once you pay your tuition fee, we'll actually refund that 100 euros. Yeah. Are there any specific questions to this admission part? Otherwise, I will skip ahead. And
yeah, we can continue for now.
Sounds good. I will go on and tell you a bit more about computer science. Computer science, along with our engineering programs, are kind of like our flagship programs. So our computer science program, this is just an introduction. This is the general structure of the program, where you have 3 semesters with specializations, and then your thesis semester. During your 3rd semester, you can also do electives, and electives can be going on exchange. It can be doing like an internship project, or it can be taking electives from other degree programs. So maybe courses from computer engineering. It's really up to you what you want to do. So we have a lot of different specializations that you can choose from, and I've just listed them here. And pretty much every year we're adding new programs or new specializations that you can choose from. So here I would also like to say, I think the thesis is something that kind of stands out in this structure. And again, most universities will have this thesis during the 4th semester. You will be connected to a specific research group, and that research group will be, for instance, the cryptology research group. You'll do a project in collaboration with that group, and you really have a lot of flexibility and a lot of, it's very independent research projects. A few extra bonus highlights about the computer program. According to Times Higher Education, this computer science program is the best in Denmark. It's number 3 in Scandinavia, and it's the number 100 in the world. So ranked really, really well, also globally. We have a lot of close cooperation with large IT companies at the computer science department. So it's located in a part of campus that we call the IT city, where, for instance, Google is right next door. Other big IT companies are right there. We have excellent career opportunities for both students and graduates. In the past couple of years, we've had a lot of students who actually got a job in Aarhus before they even started the program. So during the first couple of weeks at computer science, there'll be something like a company dating session, and you can start your student job even during the 1st semester. All international students, and this is specific to computer science, will get their own office space at the department. So that's a really nice bonus feature as well. And then we have a lot of different things, but one thing to mention is we have Denmark's largest and also obviously greatest hackathon, AU Hack. And then we have just a lot of innovation and a really great incubator environment. So for students who are entrepreneurial, this is definitely the place to be. The admission requirements are quite strict. You will need a bachelor's degree in computer science, and then you need to have covered all of these specific areas. So you'll need to have some experience in programming, in computer systems, and so on and so on. And this all needs to be documented in your application if you do decide to apply. And then in addition to your bachelor's degree and your diploma or your transcript, you'll need to upload an English language test. And these are basically the 2 main documents that we need in order to process your application. So bachelor's degree, English language test, those are the 2 main things that we'll need in order to admit you. All right, so engineering. We actually have a total of 5 MSc programs in engineering. So biotechnology and chemical engineering, civil and architectural engineering, computer engineering, electrical engineering, and mechanical engineering. And the overall structure, again, is pretty much identical to computer science. So it's 4 semesters, 2 years, where you have your thesis during the 4th semester. You have a mix of compulsory courses and specialized courses. You can also call them electives during the 1st and the 2nd semester. And then for the 3rd semester, you can also do these specialized courses, but you can also do a research and development project. So a lot of students will choose to do perhaps 15 ECTS as a research development project that they do in collaboration with the research unit at the department, and then perhaps also in collaboration with a local business. So that's a really great opportunity. It's a great way to get to know a local business, and it's also a great way to prepare for your thesis. What's also nice to know about this structure, and the same would actually apply to computer science, is that it's very flexible. So during the first semester, the first week of every semester, actually, you will meet with your academic advisor, and you will structure your degree program. So someone, an academic, will go through what is the best possible degree program for you. And also you can change that as you go. So you might make a plan for the full 2 years during your first semester. And then you suddenly have an interest in a different field. And then you can change the courses that you'll do the second and the third semester. So a lot of flexibility and a lot of great opportunities to talk to advisors about how a program fits you the best. So these are just some examples of course titles. I didn't want to bring the total description, but these are just some examples of courses that you can do during these different programs, just for you to get an idea. So I'll leave that for a bit, but again, you'll receive a copy of this presentation, and I'll also send you links to each of these program descriptions where you can see all the different courses available and the structure and everything. So the admission requirements, again, very similar to computer science, where you need to have a relevant bachelor's degree in engineering. And as you saw with computer science, we had specified that was actually 90 ECTS that you had to have within specific areas. The same applies to engineering, where you have to have 60 ECTS within a specific field of engineering. So if you're looking to apply to civil and architectural engineering, you'll need to have 60 ECTS within civil and architectural engineering. So courses in structures and so on and so on. And then all programs require you to have 20 ECTS in mathematics, and that typically covers algebra, calculus, and some other areas of mathematics, depending on the program. But this is all very clearly laid out on our website. Language tests is the same. You'll need to provide either a TOEFL test or an IELTS test. Those are the two tests that most students will use, but you can also, if you have a Cambridge certificate, that's also accepted at the university. All right, that was my presentation. Hopefully we have a lot of time for questions now, in case there are any.
Yes, there are. First of all, some students are asking whether there are some master's programs available that do not require a dissertation at the end, a thesis at the end, which means that non-thesis. Yeah. I don't think so, because this is a very, very, very top university in research. Yeah. So, but I just wanted to ask.
No, all our programs require you to finish with a thesis, which is research-based. Yeah.
There are some questions about bachelor's degrees. You mentioned that there are some bachelor's degrees available, but is it available with STEM programs?
No, not with STEM programs. So we have,
I think, like business, I guess, yeah?
Yeah, economics and business, and then cognitive science. So those are actually the two only bachelor's degree programs that we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are also questions for part-time work. You know, the part-time working opportunities during studying while studying at a master's program. Would you like to say something about it?
Yeah, so So your resident permit allows you to work for 20 hours per week. And then you can work for 30 hours per week during the summer months, so June, July, August. So that's step one. That's actually being allowed to work, because that depends on where you go. Some countries might not allow you to work. And this all Turkish students or all non-EU students would be able to work 20 hours per week. Getting a job, our impression is that all students who want to get a job are able to get a job. Then there's the difference between just getting any job that will kind of help you pay the bills, like job at a restaurant, job delivering food, job cleaning. There are plenty of those around. And the minimum wage is, we don't have, well, the minimum wage in practical terms is typically around, I would say like 18 euros per hour, something along those lines. And then obviously to get a more career relevant part-time job, that kind of depends on your experience and maybe luck also, but definitely within computer science and computer engineering, my impression is that it's super easy to get a job. And then also engineering, we are doing a lot to help students get relevant jobs that are relevant to your career. So a lot of services, and my impression again is that if you really want a job, it's definitely possible to get one. Also something that's relevant to your career.
Okay, there is a question about a support which might be given for students who would like to start their own business, startups at Aarhus University. And one of our candidates here asking about, if I decide to start a career about renewable energy, cryptocurrencies, or data sciences, would this? So first of all, does the university support that, and does that have an effect on work permit limits? He's asking. Yeah.
No, so that shouldn't have an effect on your work permit. And there's a lot of support for entrepreneurship at the university on innovation in general. We have this whole center that's called the Kitchen, that's set up just to help students who have entrepreneurial an entrepreneurial spirit and the hopes and dreams. And my impression is also that at the various departments, they're also very supportive of this. So definitely a lot of opportunities. And again, feel free to send me an email and I can send you a link to, for instance, the Kitchen. And so you can check that out and read more about it.
Okay, and also I think I wonder whether we have answered it or not, but let's give it a shot again. So what is the monthly cost of living in Denmark in general, or let's say Aarhus, and what are the accommodation options?
Yeah, so I'm just quickly checking. So generally, the cost of living in Aarhus is lower than, for instance, in Copenhagen. It's about 950 euros per month is our estimation, so close to 1,000 euros. I think it depends a lot on, like, do you prefer to, how you live. So are you in a dorm where you share a kitchen and a bathroom? Or are you in a 2-bedroom apartment? Do you enjoy going to fancy restaurants, or do you prepare your own lunches? So, if you live fancy and eat fancy, it'll be more expensive than if you live cheap and eat cheap. And for housing, we do have a lot of very affordable student accommodations. So you are actually guaranteed a student housing offer as an international student doing a full degree. So you would apply by the 1st of May, and then you would be guaranteed a housing offer. And all our student housing, I think the maximum price, so typically the price like rent per month would be somewhere between 300 euros and maybe 600 or 700 euros per month. So compared to, I know, a lot of other countries, that's fairly affordable, actually. I hope you agree.
Yeah, I do. We also have had some experience with our students. I talked to them. Mostly they stayed in the dormitories. The fees monthly for these dorms were around 550 or 600 euros per month. Sometimes even cheaper if you are sharing it. And like as you mentioned, if you prepare your own lunches and if you don't go out a lot, like not more than usual, because like you'll be studying a lot. So you will not have the time during the weekdays. Maybe you'll just go out during Saturdays or not, or something like that. And the living style in Denmark, mostly in Scandinavia, is staying at home, actually, buying your food and your stuff from the grocery, and then you enjoy your house parties and like things like that. So I don't think that you will be spending too much money like you do in USA, in Canada and UK, because it's much more expensive in these countries. So I believe that this is affordable, even if it is Denmark. I think it is quite an affordable student life, considering the opinions that I got from the students.
That's definitely my impression as well. And just to add, you'll never share a dorm room. All our rooms are single rooms. That's one. And then two, I can really recommend living in a dorm. Also, I personally lived in a dorm for 5-6 years throughout my whole degree. I shared a bathroom and a kitchen for most of them. So, and my personal experience was that was completely fine. I obviously enjoy having my own space now, but for those years, it was amazing.
Definitely.
And it's just such a good way to meet people, both internationals and Danish people. So definitely.
What I try to say, sometimes Turkish students, or sometimes they even get together with like students from Russia, Azerbaijan, etc. They got together and they find a house to stay together. What I meant with sharing was that, of course, the dorms are very beautiful. Like when you compare them to UK, for example, if you want to stay in an ensuite room in UK, you have to pay more than 800 or 900 pounds per month. And here you just pay 500 or 600 and you just have your own space. So it's, I think it's very good and quite affordable. Very much, much lower than what I expected when I first started working with Denmark.
Yeah.
And I think we have a question about academy once again, which is, do you have a chemistry master's program, and do you offer any scholarships for them?
Yes. So we also have a master's in chemistry, and scholarships are also available, and that would be the same. It would be a tuition fee waiver, and we do have quite a fair number of tuition fee waivers for all of our STEM programs. So I really just encourage you to apply, and then you're automatically applying for a scholarship / tuition fee waiver.
Definitely. Okay. I'm checking if there are any other questions. Yeah, when I say that, usually we have more questions. But yeah, this is about sociology that we are not talking about right now. Any other? I think not.
I can just say in terms of sociology, we don't have a sociology program, but there is an anthropology program. That would be the closest thing. So go to our website and check it out.
Yeah, and I've had many experiences working with the BSS, Business and Social Science faculty. So if any students have any questions about these faculties, I'm glad to help. I gave my email address through the chat section, so I'm ready to help if you have any questions. Okay, good question, Semra Hanım. How is the pandemic situation? It is good to hear that there is no case anymore in Denmark. It's going to be a good PR question for you.
We are doing really well. So we're all back at work. All the students are back, and we've actually lifted, I think it was just last week, all restrictions. So there are no COVID restrictions at all in Denmark anymore. So that's amazing. Danish people living in Denmark like to get vaccinated. That makes it a lot easier. Obviously, there's still a pandemic going on. Like nothing, there's still COVID in the world, and
but not in Denmark.
Not a lot anyway. Not a lot in Denmark, and we're the last I heard 3 experts recently saying that they don't believe that we'll see another lockdown. So even if numbers might increase over the fall and winter, they don't expect that it will lead to anything like a lockdown or significant restrictions. So I'm very hopeful that it'll just be, normal life in Denmark. And it's been so wonderful this August, September to see all the students around campus and just everybody being back. And yeah, so that's really, we're lucky.
Definitely. Okay. I'm checking for more questions if there is any. There is any. No.
And again, as Beck mentioned, like feel free to email back directly. Feel free to email me, and I will send out an email to you, so you'll have my email address and you'll have a copy of this presentation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, so I think we can thank everyone for participating. Teşekkürler. I think Catherine, you might have learned teşekkürler.
No,
because you did not visit Turkey yet. You have not visited Turkey yet.
Yeah.
We are expecting you to here as well, hopefully in the future. Thanks a lot.
So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, everybody, for coming. Thanks to you, Beck, for answering all of these questions and for moderating really the questions. That was excellent. Thanks to all of you for staying. I really hope that we'll see you in Denmark, and definitely make a note of November 3rd, sign up for a newsletter, and have a good evening.
Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation, Catherine, and you covered all of the questions. Thank both of you. And also I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Aarhus University ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mailden Berk Bey ile iletişime geçebilirsiniz. Umarız sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. Aynı zamanda sizi altıdaki webinarımıza da davet etmek isteriz. Thank you very much again, Catherine. And Berk Bey, it was a pleasure to have in IEFT Talks.
Teşekkürler.
Take care, bye-bye.
Bye.